Ever notice how, like, a coat of paint can totally change the whole vibe of a room?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you can go from kind of drab to bam,
Uh,
just like that.
It's an amazing what a little color can do, right?
Yeah, totally. Well, get this, the color of your floors.
Yeah.
Same deal. It's not just about what looks good, it's about how it makes you feel.
It's true. People don't always think about that. You know the feeling.
Exactly.
Hmm.
So if you're thinking about new floors, we're doing a deep dive today on choosing the right color. And we've got some great insights from Wood& Beyond to guide us. They've been in the flooring world for over 15 years.
Oh, wow. So they've seen it all.
Right. And they've got this really cool blog post about it. So it's one thing to know what you like, but they really get into the why, the science behind it all.
Yeah, like how come light colors make a room feel bigger? I mean, we know they do, but
Exactly. Or why does a dark wood floor feel so cozy?
right. Well, it all comes down to light. It's about wavelengths, how they bounce off surfaces, and how our brains interpret all of that. Lighter colors, especially yellows, oranges, they reflect more light. So your brain thinks, hey, more space.
So it's like wearing a white shirt on a sunny day.
Yeah.
Keeps you cooler. Yeah.
Exactly, same idea. And just like with clothes, the texture of your floor matters too. High gloss reflects more light than matte, no matter what the color is.
So it's like a double whammy. You've got the color itself, then you've got the finish, the undertones. It all makes a difference.
Huge. Even those little variations within a color family, like if they call it coffee versus cream or smoked or bleached, that's not just fancy marketing. Those subtle changes, they really impact the final look.
It's like the difference between ordering a latte or a cappuccino, right?
Yeah.
It's all coffee, but
But totally different vibes.
exactly. So before we get too far ahead, let's break it down. What are some of the most popular flooring colors people go for, and what kind of mood do they set?
Okay, sounds good.
Well, you can't go wrong with the classics, right?
Mhm.
I'm talking about natural wood tones. They just seem to work everywhere.
You're right. There's a reason they're so timeless. They bring this warmth, this character, like they really ground a space.
Totally. And there's so much variety within that too, right? Depending on the type of wood, the finish, you can go from like rustic farmhouse to super sleek and modern.
Absolutely. Like a light oak floor,
Hmm.
total beach vibes, but then you've got your rich mahogany that's all about luxury.
It's so true. Okay, but how do you know if natural wood is right for a particular room? Like, what are the things to consider?
Room size is a big one. Lighter woods, like a maple or birch, they can actually make a room feel bigger, brighter.
It's that whole light reflection thing again, right?
Exactly. Especially if it's a matte or satin finish, it's bouncing that light right back at you. Makes it feel open and airy.
Makes me think of those Scandinavian interiors, all bright and minimal with those pale wood floors.
Spot on. That's exactly what they go for. Now, if you've got a big room already, you've got more flexibility. You can go darker, like a walnut or cherry. Those warmer tones make it cozier.
But you wouldn't want to do that in a tiny room with no windows, would you?
Probably not, unless you're going for a dungeon vibe. It's all about that balance. Now, if you're not sure whether to go light or dark, gray wood floors have become super popular lately.
Oh yeah, gray is everywhere these days. And it makes sense. It can be both warm and cool at the same time, depending on the undertones, right?
Exactly. And that's what makes it so versatile. A warm gray with, say, some beige or taupe undertones, that's going to feel cozier. But if it leans more towards blue or green, that's where you get that cool contemporary look.
It's like the chameleon of the color world.
Uh-huh. That's a good way to put it. And with gray wood floors, you've got even more choices because you've got all the different finishes too. Weathered, rustic, sleek, modern. It can really fit any style.
So many options. Okay, we've talked about natural wood, we talked about gray. What about going all the way to the other side with white floors?
White floors are super trendy right now, and for good reason. White reflects the most light, so even if you have a small, dark room, it can really brighten it up.
It's like giving your space a breath of fresh air.
Totally. That's why it's so big in minimalist and Scandinavian designs. It creates this clean slate, and then the furniture and decor really pop.
It's all about simplicity. But white floors, aren't they hard to keep clean?
That's the trade-off. You're going to see every little speck of dust. You'll definitely want to invest in a good doormat and maybe even one of those robot vacuums.
Worth it for that bright, airy vibe, though.
Mm.
Okay, on the flip side, we have black floors. That's a bold choice.
Definitely a statement. It creates this really dramatic, sophisticated look, especially if you contrast it with lighter walls and furniture.
Yeah, it can make a room feel really luxurious, like a fancy hotel room.
Right. But you do have to be careful with the lighting because black absorbs so much light. You don't want it to feel like a cave.
Good point. So lots of lamps, Maybe some mirrors to bounce the light around?
Exactly. It's all about finding that sweet spot, that balance between drama and coziness.
This is great. Okay, so we've covered some of the main color families. Now I'm curious, how do these different flooring colors play into specific interior design styles?
Oh, that's a great question. There are definitely some natural pairings.
All right, so let's dive into some specific design styles. We touched on minimalist a bit earlier. What about that?
Yeah, so with minimalist, you're often going to see light floors, like natural wood or whitewashed finishes. It kind of goes with the whole vibe, you know?
Right, because minimalism is all about being clean and open, and those lighter colors really help with that.
Totally. And they create this nice neutral backdrop, so your furniture really stands out, which is the whole point, right? Now, on a totally different note, what about farmhouse style?
Oh, love it. Farmhouse is so charming.
Right. So with farmhouse, you often see whitewashed wood floors or maybe cream tones.
Yes, it's rustic, but still kind of elegant, like in a big cozy kitchen with exposed beams, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And those lighter distressed wood tones, they work so well with all the natural materials you usually see in farmhouse design. You know, the wood, the stone, it all just fits.
It's all about warmth and authenticity. Okay, so we've done minimalist, farmhouse. What about something more contemporary? What kind of flooring is modern to you?
For contemporary, think light gray, maybe even a bleached wood. It's that clean, streamlined look. Goes with those sleek lines and uncluttered spaces.
Understated, but sophisticated. Love it.
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask about mid-century modern. What about that blast from the past?
Ah, mid-century modern. Well, you know, they loved their natural materials, especially wood. So it's no surprise that natural wood tones or browns are really popular there.
Of course. It just works so well with all those iconic furniture pieces.
It's that perfect balance, you know. The furniture can be kind of playful, but the floors ground the space.
Exactly. Okay, one more style I want to touch on. Industrial. Exposed brick, metal accents, that whole vibe. What kind of flooring works in that setting?
Industrial is all about being bold,
Yeah.
right? So you can go with a dark gray floor, even black. It adds to that edgy urban feel.
I can see it. And it creates a nice contrast with all the brick and metal.
Exactly. It's all about those unexpected pairings. So, yeah, I think we've covered a lot of ground here.
We really have. This has been so eye-opening. I mean, I knew flooring was important, but I had no idea how much thought goes into choosing the right color.
It's a big decision. It's a big part of your home, and it's not something you change very often.
So true. Big thanks to Wood and Beyond for all the great info. We'll be sure to link to their blog post in the show notes so you can check it out.
Definitely.
And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Hopefully you've learned a thing or two about finding the perfect flooring color for your space. Until next time, happy decorating.